Week 6. I can't believe we are in week 6 already for the NFL. It has been still a lot of question marks. As I had mentioned, 19 teams that are either 2-3 or 3-2. So another interesting round of games that are going to be coming up. First game that we have up is Tampa and Detroit. The Lions have been on absolute fire, but the Buccaneers also aren't as bad as I think a lot of people thought they were going to be. And we have we're going to talk about this tonight, but I think we're going to save it for another show. But Baker Mayfield could end up being a comeback player of the year. And he's been doing really well down there in Tampa. And so much so that the Lions are only favored by 3 points here. Who do you got, Ryan?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, good. Sorry. I was trying to get something up there because,
man, I was on a roll.
I know you were rolling, you were locked in, you were dialed in, but I was trying to get a little bit more update because the Lions could be missing their stud tight end, Sam Laporta, who's been dealing with a calf issue. He's been carrying my fantasy team. But so it looks like they're going to get Amon-Ra St. Brown back. Personally, I'm going to roll with the Lions. I like the Lions for what they've done. David Montgomery, and I wish we could pull up that Dan Campbell talking about how he's the guy. Sorry for anyone that drafted Gibbs. That hurts. But they're physical, they're tough in the trenches, and I like how Jared Goff's playing. Give me the Lions in this one. Plus, the Buccaneers still might be without Mike Evans.
All right, Zach, who you got?
Yeah, I'm so all in on the Lions. I can't see straight sometimes. I think they might be my second favorite team in the league right now, but just because of that nitty gritty, they don't care who you are. Go against the Chiefs week 1 and we'll punch you first. And that's what I love about them. So I got to take them over the Bucs here.
Yeah, I'm taking, as much as I want to take the Bucs, I feel like I got to take the Lions. They are getting hot right now. And it seems as if they're firing all cylinders. Tampa Bay is coming off of a bye. So I'm sure that gives them somewhat of advantage, which is why I think that the Lions are only favored by 3. But I'm going to take the Lions in this one as well. Next up, we'll keep this one quick because we're going to address this later in the show. But you got Ravens, Titans. Titans just now are getting into London. The Ravens have been there a few days earlier. I believe it was Monday. They ended up flying over there. So, this is going to be an interesting game. And we saw what the Bills, how this impacted the Bills as far as adjusting to the time difference. Ravens are favored by 4 points. I'm going to take the Ravens here just because of that reason alone. And we're going to get into that in more detail, but I want to be brief about this. I'm taking Ravens here -4.
Yeah, I'm also going to go Ravens. We'll get more into it, but yeah, I think the Ravens are going to take this one, especially after a tough loss to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I agree with that. The only thing that does scare me with the Titans, Vrabel, this rivalry, I think it's going to be an interesting game. It always is with these two teams, but especially how the Ravens lost last week. We'll dive into it more, but I think they get the job done. Second time around, also going to London too.
Yeah, and speaking of, as we were just talking about the Bills and Giants face each other as well. The Bills are favored by 14.5 points. This is after the Bills coming off of that tough loss in London. I'd actually had the Bills losing that game against the Jags for that reason. But man, I think this is a big bounce back game. What a great way to kind of have a bounce back against a Giants team that has just been absolutely atrocious. Zach, I'll let you take this one first. Who you got?
I just feel so bad that the Giants had to get scheduled to beat the Bills. Like, we got to get back on track game because I think this could get very ugly very fast. And if you're a Giants fan, after I say this, they'll probably win, but you might as well not even watch. It could get very ugly very fast. And the Giants are just dealing with so many injuries. That's the other thing, is they're missing so many players. And I just think it just is a perfect storm for Buffalo. And their 14 might even be low for how determined Buffalo is going to come into this game.
Yeah, over under is 44.5 points. Ryan?
Well, a couple things. I think what I'm the most upset if I'm a football fan is that the Giants are in prime time again.
Yeah.
And so that means we have to watch that Sunday night game. And I want the Giants to do well. I like Brian Daboll. I feel bad for Daniel Jones, but it's the Bills had a letdown and you got to go play Josh Allen and this pissed off Bills defense. Yeah, I don't think this is going to be close I think Bills roll to an easy one.
Yeah, you guys have said it all. I'm not going to add any more to that. It's going to be the Bills all the way. Next up, we got a division game against the Rams Cardinals. Rams Cardinals game, and the Rams are favored by 7. I think the Rams do take this, although I think it's going to be close. You know, the Cardinals have been hanging in. A lot of people had expectations that Cardinals were going to be one of the worst teams in football, and they're actually not doing too bad. I would say they're bottom half still, but they've had some surprises here. I think a lot of people can say that. So Rams favored by 7. I think it's gonna be closer than that, but I think the Rams are going to take this game from the Cardinals.
Yeah, I think Rams win this as well. Division games are always get weird, but I'll tell you what, Cooper Kupp being back and Puka Nacua, it seems like they can work together. They both balled out their first game back. And Matthew Stafford's a really good quarterback. I think that people sometimes forget that because he was hurt so much and they had a terrible offensive line last year. I think the Rams win this game and even their record back to 3-3.
What you got, Doug?
This is gonna be the first time I go against it. The Cardinals are just frisky. That's the only word I can think to describe them. And I think, it's just one of those games where it's a division rivalry. It like you said, Brad, it's going to be close. And I think this is one of those that the Cardinals just kind of squeak out a super ugly one by 3 points. And everyone's like, what just happened? So I'll go with the Cardinals on this one.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head as far as it being ugly. Whoever wins this game, it's not going to be pretty, but I'm going to take the Rams. Matt Stafford's just slinging it. I think that the talent on the Rams side of the ball is just better than the Cardinals right now. So I'm going to take the Rams for that reason. Next up, we got probably in one of the least entertaining games, but who knows? Maybe it'll turn into an entertaining one. We got Kirk Cousins. We got Justin Fields going against each other in another divisional game. It is Vikings and Bears. Bears came off a huge win from against the Commanders. Their first win in 14 games straight going back to last year. So, could that momentum carry into this game and they could take on the Vikings? I don't think so. I think Kirk Cousins takes care of business. They're favored by 3 points. That's my pick. Ryan, who you got?
You know what? Give me the Bears in Chicago. Look, the fact that Justin Jefferson is on IR or he's out for extended time, I don't know what that offense is going to look like without him. Yes, they got Jordan Addison. Yes, you have KJ Osborne, and they can be creative on offense, but they got to have their go-to guy now. On the flip side, Fields is playing with a ton of confidence. If their defense can just make a couple stops right now and Fields plays like he does the last 2 games, I think Chicago is going to win this game, and then Kirk Cousins is going to get traded.
Ooh, yeah, I like it.
Yeah, that narrative continues to get louder. Before you give your pick, Zach, I got to since Ryan opened the door, who do you think Kirk's going to? If he does get traded, what team's he going to? They're gonna take a rental on Kirk Cousins, you think?
Might as well.
I mean, yeah.
But it's going to be an interesting conversation because if your team gets so out of the race and the Vikings might say to Justin Jefferson, hey, we're just relax a little bit. It's a lost season.
We'll sign him back.
I do love Captain Kirk, though. I want to see him in a good situation, but unfortunately right now, doesn't look too good. But Zach, who you got? Vikings, Bears. Are you on the Chicago hype with me right now?
Yeah, I am. I am. I just do not trust the Vikings offense without Justin Jefferson. And it's not that I think the Bears are going to go win this game. I think it's going to be who doesn't lose this game. I mean, like we said, it's definitely not the most anticipated game on the menu to this weekend. So we'll see, but I think the Bears are hot. That was such a massive game for their confidence. You have DJ Moore just going off. Finally had his big Bears moment, and I think now is when he takes that next step. He keeps it going. I don't think he'll have 200 plus yards again, but I think he puts up a solid day.
For sure. All right. So next one, it's a week of division games. So we have Colts Jaguars. Now they've already faced each other this season. Jaguars took that game from the Colts. This time around, the Jags are favored yet again. They are favored by I just had it by 4.5 points. Jaguars obviously coming off a win against the Bills in London. I think Gardner Minshew just is. I think he's good. I don't know if he's going to be good enough. I think the Jaguars should take this one, and I think it should be pretty easy for them to take it, but we'll see. It's a division game, obviously, but I think the Jags should take this one. Who you got, Zach?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm on the Jags as well. I think they're starting to put it together. I think it's also a lot easier. They spent 2 weeks in London. That kind of your body isn't it's not as weird coming back after 2 weeks, I think, because your body adjusted and then it has time to adjust again instead of a weird you're in, you're out, your body doesn't know what just happened. I don't think that affects. I think the Jaguars, like you said, handled business Sunday.
Yeah, I think the Jags win. And also, Indianapolis has always struggled going down to play there, even when they were not very good. So I think the Jags, this is a game you can't lose if you're the Jags here. A divisional game. This is for you to really try to, start to create ground, so to speak. I think Trevor Lawrence, you got the better quarterback. You got the skill guys around you. Jacksonville should be able to take care of the Colts on this one.
Yeah. Next up, we got Bengals Seahawks. Now, Bengals coming off of their best win of the season. Really kind of look like Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow were the same duo that we've seen last year and the year prior. They're back to their old form. But are they? And I guess we'll see this week. The Seahawks are the underdogs by 2.5. So Bengals are favored here. I'm taking the Seahawks. The Seahawks defense has actually shown up. I think they're doing extremely well. Does anybody know if we're going to see Geno out there this week?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, he'll be out there.
Geno's playing, so I'm going to take Seahawks on this one. I still just don't trust the Bengals. Who cares if they had a great win last week? I don't think that they're back just yet. They're going to have to prove it to me this week, so I'm going to take Seahawks.
Yeah, I'm it's a little bit of both. I have a feeling the Bengals could just win this game and it's going to irritate me as a Ravens fan, but I am going to take Seattle with this, just coming off of the bye, and the Seahawks, hopefully they're feeling a little bit better. Geno's feeling healthier. Their defense is picking up the pieces. They also just have more weapons on offense. T. Higgins is going to be, it seems like, a game time decision. Let's see the Bengals do it twice in a row. I think Seattle's a sneaky, really good team. Give me Seattle.
Yeah, I'm with you guys too. Also, they have incredible weapons on offense. They got Bobby Wagner back in that running that defense again, and it's made a massive difference this year. I think overall, yes, part of this is probably as a Ravens lens, but I do have Seahawks.
Yeah, next one is Jets Eagles, and I thought that this Jets Eagles game was going to be, I thought the spread was going to be that of like Bills Giants. It's not. It's actually less than half that. Eagles are favored by 7, and I think that's kind of laughable from Vegas. We'll see, but the Jets just, look, we saw what they did against the Chiefs. I think the Eagles are actually a better team than the Chiefs are right now, and I think that I'm not going to spend any more time on this. I just think Eagles are going to take it easily. Don't have to really say much else other than the fact that they're playing the Jets, and the Jets just aren't a good team.
Yeah.
I will say this. Jets are playing at home. They seem to give a better shot at home. And if they're going to win this game, it's going to have to be an absolute slugfest, because they are not going to. If they win, I'd love to say Zach Wilson's going to play really well. They're going to have to run the football, and that's something Philly is so good at stopping. Their D-line is unbelievable. So for that reason, the Jets would have to win ugly. I don't see them winning ugly. I think the Eagles take care of it and move to 6-0.
Yeah, I'll keep it quick. Eagles are going to win this one. And they're better at every single position. Like, I don't think there's a single one you could really even argue that Jet maybe corner, but even that's up in the air. So I got to take the Eagles.
Yeah, easy call. Commanders. Falcons are favored by 2.5. Commanders coming off that loss against the Bears. This is going to be a good game, I think. These are both up and coming teams. They're in the middle of their rebuild. Sam Howell looks great. Bijan Robinson is an absolute monster. So this is a tough one for me. I think the Commanders do come back. I love Sam Howell. I love the things that he's doing. If he can keep the turnovers at bay, I think the Commanders can win this one because of their run defense. I think their run defense, while they're going to have a big challenge containing Bijan Robinson, if they can even to a certain extent, just enough to allow Sam Howell to do his thing, I think the Commanders can take this one. So I'm taking the dogs on this one.
Okay, so I do have to go with Atlanta, but solely because Desmond Ritter has never lost a home game in I think it's NFL, college, or high school. So
Whoa.
yeah. Someone brought this to my attention before last week's game. I was like, that stat's not real. And then after they won, I saw a media outlet post Desmond Ritter stays undefeated at home since it was like senior year of high school, junior year of high school. And so if the Falcons are at home, I think I got to take them at this point.
By those stats and facts, you would say we'd have to take the Falcons, but I'm taking the Commanders here. I think that streak ends this week. Look, I still think the Commanders, they've been up and down. There's no secret to that. The Falcons have more of an identity of who they are compared to what the Commanders are. But the reason why I'm taking the Commanders too, I truly believe as an athlete, as a player, when you get embarrassed, and the Commanders were embarrassed on Thursday at home against the Bears, a winless team at the time, that defense was supposed to be pretty solid. They've looked terrible. I think that they bounce back and they shock Atlanta this week in Atlanta.
Yeah. Next one is Raiders and Patriots. This is one that this is another tough pick. I think Raiders are favored by 2.5. Now, last week, Thursday Night Football, we saw the Raiders win another ugly game. I believe Zach actually said it was going to be ugly, and sure enough, it was.
All they do.
Jimmy Garoppolo doing Jimmy Garoppolo things and still coming out with the dub. I think it's going to be a lot of the same. And the reason that I think that I'm calling the Raiders on this one, the reason I think that is just because they just have more talent over there. Devontae Adams, Jimmy Garoppolo is just a better quarterback than Mac Jones. Their defense, Max Crosby on the defensive side of the ball. Now you obviously have, some playmakers on the defense of the Patriots, but I just don't think that talent wise and on paper that they can match up to the Raiders. So I'm taking Vegas over the Pats. Pats just aren't a good football team right now, and they have to prove it to me otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, I got burned by the Pats last week too. I thought, man, they're going to bounce back. They played terrible against Dallas. That bounce back mojo, I lived with that motto, and boy, was I wrong. Yeah. I was mistaken. And talk about being demoralized. The only thing that the Patriots could have going in this game is the fact that Bill Belichick always seems to play better against his former coaches, right? So there could be that, but I don't trust what the Patriots are doing on offense. And I can't believe I'm still going to say this. I'm still going to take the Patriots, and I hate it. I hate myself. But I think they still have, to me, I'm not sold on Josh McDaniels as a coach. I think that they're going to give Jimmy Garoppolo a little bit more of problems. And I think the run game for the New England finally gets rolling. And somehow it's an ugly one, but they win in Vegas this time around.
Yeah, I think we can all agree it's going to be an ugly game. But when it comes down to it, I got to stay the same as last week. Jimmy Garoppolo versus Mac Jones. I'm taking Jimmy Garoppolo to find a way to win that ugly game any day of the week. And I just can't trust Mac Jones, which means he'll look like an MVP this week, but I just can't trust him.
Yeah, it's going to be an ugly game for sure. Next up, we got 49ers Browns. And
boy.
Talk about ugly. Talk about what's going to be ugly if Deshaun Watson isn't playing, Brad.
Yeah, and he's supposedly at risk of not doing so. I think he's listed as doubtful, if I'm not mistaken, for this game. The 49ers are favored by 9.5 points. Here's what I will say. The Cleveland Browns, obviously the Ravens hung 28 points on them, But even with that, the 28 points that the Ravens put up on the Browns, they're only allowing 15 points a game. They had the bye week last week, so we'll see what happens. But I think this actually could be a low scoring game. Total points for this game is I just lost my spot. Total points is 35.5. I'm going to take the under. Still going to take the 49ers, but I do think it's going to be a low scoring game. I think it could be closer than some might realize. I think 9.5 point favorites is a bit high.
Yeah. So actually, I just checked. Josina Anderson did tweet about an hour ago. Deshaun won't play. So they're going with PJ Walker. They're not even going with the rookie. I just can't. I think the 49ers that team is just too good. That team is so good just in every aspect of the game of football. So I'll take the 49ers.
Yeah, we'll keep this short and sweet. 49ers, and I think it's going to be such a dominant performance from them again. Brock Purdy proves that he should be in the MVP conversation. And best of luck to PJ Walker. I hope the best, but goodness, that 49ers defense is something.
It's insane. I was just giving the Browns defense the benefit of the doubt. At least they can make it a game. Texans Saints. This is going to be another not fun game to watch, I don't think, but we'll see. The Saints are favored by 1.5. I will say that CJ Stroud, out of all this entire, game matchup, whatever you want to call it, is going to be the fun part of this to watch. I'm taking Texans on this. It looks like it's a 50-50 game, but I'm going to take Texans just because of the way that CJ Stroud's been playing. And let's not forget, everybody kind of like overlooks the Texans defense, but they're a good club over there. So I'm taking Texans over Saints here. CJ Stroud does it again.
I would love to see that with the Texans. I'd love to see him continue to play well. My only concern is this Saints team now going to get a little bit of a boost with Alvin Kamara back? He seems to be a guy who's a playmaker. So I'm going to take the Saints here on the road. I don't feel good about it. I think Stroud plays well, but I think that this is going to be a game where the Saints, just the matchups for them might be better. The Saints stop the run well. They're very solid against the pass. I think overall, arguably, this is the toughest defense that Stroud's going to have to face so far, or one of them. So I'm going to give me the Saints with Alvin Kamara being the difference.
I'm going to go Texans here, and it's only because I think CJ Stroud finally is starting to break the trend of Ohio State quarterbacks that just are not successful in the NFL. And every week that I see a new interview or something with him, I like him even more. So D'Amico Ryan's head coach, I think it's going to be a good game. And I like the Texans to pull this one out. I don't know. I just have that feeling. They got a little swagger to them.
Yeah, I agree. So last game, and it should be an easy one. Panthers, Dolphins. Dolphins are favored by 13.5. The Dolphins cover this one easily, in my opinion. Nothing else needs to be said. Dolphins is going to just destroy the worst team in football right now.
Yeah, I just hope that Jalen Waddle. I'm just rooting for Jalen Waddle and Tua at this point for fantasy points. I don't think this game is. I think that's about all you can get out of this game. Maybe an Adam Thielen touchdown to help the team out as well. But besides that, this is going to get ugly fast.
Yes, it is going to get ugly. No doubt about it. Dolphins are going to roll. Things just aren't there. And Bryce Young, I think he has a chance to be really good, but right now things aren't coming together. So, that will be that. Before, we never really talked about it though, guys. Who we got tonight? Broncos Chiefs. Is that a consensus?
Yes, it's the Chiefs.
Yeah. I think we're all on the same page on that one.